Alright, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. So this view right now has something kind of new to the game. Each of these green lines, if they're enabled in your game, also this little trace here is new to me. If they're enabled, this allows you control and direct contact with ships. So as you get further away from these, you'll either need better antennas or you'll need specific relays from satellites to communicate either good lord, transmissions, that's the word. You can turn them off, turn on to see it. The first one we're connecting to, and then all the ones that we're actually connected to. So one is the Space Center, and then the other three, I believe, are different stations. I thought they were more spread out than these 3 points, but I guess not. Anyway, so our ship's carrying on its path to the moon. It's going to be there in a whole day. So I figured in the meantime, we may as well do some little busy work around. So right now we've got some hiring we can do. Surprisingly, stupidity, not necessarily one of the things you want to go for. I honestly am not entirely sure what all these stats do, though. So we can go with people who generally got higher courage than stupidity. Preferably significantly than minor when we can. So I got a scientist and engineer. I already have 2 pilots, so I've essentially got 2 teams now. But I wouldn't mind having another pilot as well. Kind of just not the best choices right now. I also don't know if you can change their stats at any point. I also don't know what they affect. It's never really... I've never seen it explained. Okay, so I think this is the amount of parts in there. Is it 3 in here? Yeah, okay. So we have some choices we can make. General rocketry is going to get us another engine. This one has... Is the one with the gimbal? It's the previous one with the gimbal. This one's got the gimbal. So this engine doesn't have any ability to turn the ship. You're going to need to use either wings if you have an atmosphere, or other rockets which have a gimbal ability. It gets us a much larger booster, and it gets us a larger fuel tank. It's basically just 2 of the fuel tanks that we currently have. Aviation, we can do all different parts. We can actually get a cockpit, get some landing wheels and elevons, so like flaps for your plane wings. Flight control, probably the most important to me right now. It's got the reaction wheel, which is something we're going to need kind of sooner rather than later, and some more wing parts there which are maneuverable. Basic science doesn't get us... Well, it does actually. It gets us the battery, so we can take stuff up into space and actually have batteries packed on. We don't have to worry about the like 50 that we have in the pod right now. And it also gets us a science experiment, so this will allow us to do different science experiments up there, get more research and stuff, help us get more points, so we can progress through this a bit faster. This also stores experiments, so we can just keep taking them out of instruments and just go forever. So that's one I thought about, but I think for now the reaction control is a bit more important. And then we can get a more advanced one of that later, including the RCS blocks, which are also super important. Okay, but for now we're down to 11.9, so we're going to have to wait on the next ones. I'll probably do the science one next. But anyway, let's go back to our lone astronaut hanging out in space here. Okay. Let's see if the EVA has changed at all. If we can get something different. High over Kerbin? Do we already have one of those? Oh, I can't view the vessels. Okay. So actually, at the moment, we're in a position where I can hang out off the ship without having to worry. Because we're both in orbit. So I'm moving at the exact same speed as the ship until I act upon that with my little thruster pack here. So I could, if I needed to, fly around, do repairs, but the repairs are very limited in this game. Only engineers can do them, And I think the only thing I've noticed being broken are wheels. I've never actually had that happen. I have had that happen once. Wheels and landing gear, which your engineers can fix if they have a high enough skill level. And since we're in the science, we all have the max skill level. So this part here I actually added is a heat shield, so we don't have any more accidental explosions when we come back to the planet. Just stare directly into the sun. Getting back on sometimes can be a little hard. Gotta grab it. Board. Yeah, I see. Okay, let's get rid of that report for now, and then we'll see what we have in there. Because, yeah, you will hit a limit as to how many things you can actually save in here. So do we have an EVA from high over carbon? Yes, we do. Okay. So I don't actually need that one. And then the crew report we've got as well. I'm tempted to transmit our data to get some more spots. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to get rid of this EVA report because this one's super easy to get. Keep those ones because they're a bit harder to get when you move around. Sphere crew report also in space high recursion. I'm going to get rid of that one too. So for now, we're going to just float here until we get to the moon. But I'm going to speed up time. Obviously, I'm going to warp us to the moon encounter. And that happens pretty quick when you speed up time, which is nice. Okay. So, just before we get in there, let's see if we've got any different science experiments we can do. High over carbon, I'm pretty sure we've already done. There it is right there. Okay. So we got 2 goo containers we can do. I think we have one of the thermometer there, and one of these guys here. We already got space high over carbon. Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing with the atmosphere stuff. I'm just gonna get rid of the ones that are just high over the planet, because those are much easier to recover in future orbits and stuff. Space high over carbon, alright. Okay, so we're gonna have 2 of each experiment to run when we get to the moon, which is going to be in 11 minutes. I got much closer than that. So yeah, when we're out here we can go much faster, 100 times, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. It's when you're close to the planet is when you're limited to how fast you can go. Alright, here we go. Time to get a moon slingshot. So this is going to be our orbit. Yep, there it is. We've just made contact with the moon's gravitational pull. Cool. You can see this line here is kind of strained a little bit. So this will be our lowest point over the moon. It's quite high. If I was going to land on the moon, this is when I would do a burn to kind of get a better orbit and then slowly shrink it until we had a landing location. So now that we're here, let's do a crew report. 10 science. And let's have them jump out there. Do a quick EVA report. 16. Yeah, they start getting... I mean, this isn't a lot, but they start getting a lot higher when you get up to the moon and stuff. So, goo can we do over the moon here? 20 science from that one. Pressure data, 24. And temperature is 16. This is a lot, compared to what we normally get from most of the Earth experiments there. So this is the closest we're going to get to the moon. 1.8 million meters. That'd be 1,800 kilometers. Yeah. And then when we jump off here, we're going to go back onto this orbit at some point. I'm not sure exactly where. I think it'll probably be like here, maybe. then I suppose I can change our descent as we come back home. I could pull this in a bit more, but it's gonna start to run to the point where we're gonna run out of fuel, and I don't want a return orbit like this because there's no way. Why am I talking funny? What the fuck? I don't want a return orbit like this because there's no way I'm going to be able to bring down like 4 million kilometers or 15 million kilometers. 15 million meters, sorry. So yeah, this is what making a moon orbit would look like. I actually have enough to get into orbit with the moon, but then escaping it would be another thing, and so on. Yeah, basically I would just go down till we're like this. You're gonna get close to like 5,000 or something meters above the moon. 5,000? Less than that. Yeah, it's like 5,000. Anyway, how much delta V do we have left here? Theoretically, let's see. Do have a good amount. Wonder if I should just do a close pass to the moon. And then when we get down there, okay, let's see what happens. If we get down there, we'd have 700 fuel left, or delta V left. So if we try to escape the moon, where's that going? Oof. I have a double moon encounter. Interesting. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's what the problem is. Yeah, I think it's too risky at the moment. I mean, we can do another trip up here when we're better prepared, and instead we can actually try to land on it. Should probably put up some satellites and stuff, but I don't have the parts for them just yet. So, in the meantime, that's gonna be the closest we get to the moon for now. Rotate it a little bit. Can't get upside down. It's not bad. For like a fourth flight, I mean, I think it took me much longer my first time, but that was more because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So, but yeah, that's pretty good. So, gonna bring us out to the end of our moon trip here. You can actually see the signal strength of your communication up here, and this would be the location that it's at. I can't transmit science for some reason. You can see the antenna that I just kind of stuck in here. Can't actually select it though. Okay, how much longer? So yeah, so there's our yellow-orange orbit here that we're going to be going back to. Oh, that's where. There we go. So we're going to pop up at that other blue point that's on the orange line there. Alright, so that's it. We're out of the moon's sphere of influence, and we're now back in our planets. So we already passed this. This is 2 days away. And this is 5 hours, yeah. So we've already passed the highest point. So if I want to make a bit of a smoother transition into the atmosphere, which is probably a good idea based on how many explosions we've had, gonna have to set up another orbit here. Orbit, whatever am I saying? Increase, nope. That's okay, well that's okay. What's our delta V on that? So I'd like to get this up to like 50 to 60,000. If possible, depending on how much fuel we actually have left. I think we have quite a bit, so it should be okay. Okay, 65 is good. So yeah, so you can see, so if I do the maneuver here, it costs me 42 delta V to get to 239,000 kilometers, or meters. I'm going to keep saying kilometers. You just got to know what it is. But for the same delta V, if we do it closer to the middle of our maneuver orbit, it gets me like nothing. So that's where you can see, like, if I instead were to do this one, it does way more, because that's where, like, generally the middle of your orbit is where the ascending and descending nodes are. So that's where you want to change your angle of attack on something if you're doing that. Anyway, so we probably want to do this maneuver as soon as possible. Actually, I don't really even need to. I could just take a look at it. How are we doing for battery? Not bad. Okay, so when we spin the ships, we're using a lot more. Okay, so if we're just doing a blind maneuver, let's do it a little slowly. We'll start increasing this. Eventually we'll see a periapsis come up out of it. There it is. And we're going to wait till that gets to about 65,000. And then we're going to shut off our engines. Okay. So that'll get us a better slow entrance into the atmosphere. I think I can go ahead and use my remaining experiments here. Get the ones that are higher over Kerbin. When I find them. You can toggle the displays on. You can get the actual temperatures. I personally thought that space was 0 Kelvin, but perhaps I'm wrong. I know absolute zero is when all matter stops, like molecules stop moving, but I don't know when that would be experienced. And pressure, 0, because you're in a vacuum, so. I think we might be at the limit for our experiments here. Let's try one anyway. Okay, cool, we got one. Did I do an EVA over the moon? I did. Okay, cool. All right, so we've got I've got some safeguards for this this reentry. The heat shield is number 1. That's our first, hopefully, all we'll need. The science experiments could be behind its shadow, not quite. And then I've got parachutes, of course, to land with. I also, potentially, if we really have to, can just pop the pod off and parachute that, but we're going to lose that science, so hopefully that's not going to be a major problem. And hopefully with our orbit that we have, the burn-off should be slow enough that this is not going to be fucking exploding on us. So, I've gone way longer than I thought I was going to, with just those basic things. But we'll get ourselves back to the Earth here. Alright, so we can speed up time until we get into the actual. Oh shit, we're out of charge. Okay, I'm going to do a small amount of burning just to give us enough electricity. Get us pointed into the atmosphere, and then we're going to turn off our. Oh, that was a mistake. I'm going to go back there. Come on, really? Okay, we're mostly holding steady. I'm going to have to balance this. Why are we losing it still? Alright, well I may as well go for the atmospheric entry. It's only going to take another like minute or two, so... So this will mess with our burn, but we're gonna... It shouldn't be too much of a problem. Hopefully I can get enough electricity. That's most what I'm concerned about right now. Turn this off and let it coast for a bit. I don't want to run out of fuel. Actually, that's what I should be doing. Just going the other fucking way. Because this will start triggering our orbit. Yeah, there we go. I'll do that as much as I can to increase a lot of the electricity here. Hopefully I'll get a full charge back up to it. At about 60,000 we're going to start seeing the atmosphere kind of hit us a little bit. It'll start bleeding off speed as well. And hopefully we can actually get this down as well so that we're inside that, that level on both sides, and that'll just make the descent much faster. We are starting to run out of fuel though, so I'm going to leave it soon. I've already passed our lowest point. Okay. I'll leave that for now because I want to run out of fuel and be trapped up here. We're going to do another maneuver over here in the future, and I'm just going to crank that all the way down. Not that we're going to hit that. Actually, probably better off doing one on the other side. Still got enough fuel for at least one of those maneuvers. Okay, well we have electricity for now, but I am going to turn that off because I don't want to run out of it. As long as we're drifting around in space, we shouldn't be losing too much. I don't know what it would even be using it for right now. I'm not sure what that point 2 is running for. Unless this actually does require electric charge. I don't know why it's running out like that. Anyway, I'm going to save this for next time because I'm running over time and it might take longer than I thought. So we will head back to the planet in the next episode. Thanks for joining me, guys. See you next time. Bye.